For anyone who studies Viking engineering, one detail stands out more than the longships and the ironwork. Their wood survived. It survived brutal North Sea spray, a climate that soaked everything in moisture, and winters that split lesser materials clean in half. Modern outdoor timbers warp, rot, and collapse in a fraction of the time. Yet Viking-built structures, pier posts, and recovered ship timbers routinely show a level of preservation that puts modern sealants to shame. What the Vikings practiced was not magic and not guesswork. It was a deliberate preservation method based on understanding how wood behaves when fire, resin, and oxygen are controlled, not eliminated. And the more you study it, the clearer it becomes. Their technique still outperforms countless modern products because it transforms the wood itself rather than smothering it beneath a chemical coat. When archaeologists analyze preserved Viking timber, they consistently find two things. The wood was heat-treated, and it was infused with natural resins. The Vikings noticed early on that when wood was lightly scorched near the fire, the surface darkened, moisture beaded instead of absorbing, and insects avoided it entirely. They also noticed that pine tar, the thick, sticky resin produced during the slow burning of pine roots, didn't just sit on the surface. When applied to warm timber, it penetrated deep into the grain, filling microchannels that fungi use to establish themselves. You know, Vikings didn't have modern laboratories, but they had generations of observation, and they connected the dots. Heat altered the structure. Resin sealed it. Together they created wood that behaved like a natural composite material. Most modern wood preservation products are surface treatments. They coat, they protect temporarily. But, well, they flake off, wash off, or degrade under sun and frost. The Viking method, however, does the opposite. It bonds with the wood. Controlled heat darkens and hardens the outer layer, reducing its ability to absorb water. Then resin fills the pores and remains there for decades because it doesn't evaporate and doesn't easily release under weather stress. Natural pine tar is hydrophobic, antifungal, and antibacterial. When absorbed into charred wood, it becomes almost permanent. This is why pine-tarred houses in Scandinavia have survived multiple centuries while, modern fence boards treated with store-bought sealant rot away within a decade. The Vikings didn't rely on coatings. They restructured the material from the inside out. Applying this method today requires 3 stages: slow charring brushing and resin saturation. Begin with clean, dry wood. Heat it using embers, not open flame, because the goal is gentle, even darkening, not burning. Hold or place the wood above the coals and rotate it until the surface turns a uniform deep brown. This signals that the sugars in the outer fibres have been broken down, making the wood unattractive to decay organisms. Once charred, just brush away the loose surface carbon to expose the hardened smooth layer underneath. Now comes the Viking hallmark resin application. Traditional pine tar can still be purchased today, or, it can be made by slowly heating pine roots or stumps in a controlled burn chamber. Warm the tar slightly so it becomes more fluid. Warm the wood as well, either by returning it briefly near the coals or using a heat gun. Then just brush the pine tar into the grain, allowing it to soak in. You will feel it stiffen the surface and darken it further. Apply several layers, allowing each to sink deeply before adding the next. The result is a finish that does not peel, does not require yearly reapplication, and honestly becomes more durable with time. There are honestly countless real-world uses for this Viking preservation method. If you're building raised beds, treating the interior faces with heat and resin keeps them from rotting even when exposed to wet soil year-round. And if you're constructing fence posts, you should only char the lower portion, the part that sits underground, then saturate it with pine tar. This dramatically increases life expectancy because, well, fungi and moisture have no open channels to invade. If you're restoring a cabin, shed, or historical building, pine-tarred siding provides an authentic, long-lasting exterior finish that doesn't require varnish or petrochemical stains. Even tool handles benefit from a light char and resin coat, as it strengthens the grain and repels moisture without becoming sticky. For a more ambitious project, consider applying this method to wooden outdoor furniture. The gentle char produces a smooth, texturally rich surface, while the resin adds a subtle sheen that weathers gracefully instead of cracking. Heat-treated and tarred furniture has been documented lasting decades in climates where untreated wood would, fail in just a few seasons. The Viking preservation method endures because it does something modern products rarely achieve. It integrates with the material instead of covering it. It uses heat to toughen, resin to seal, and chemistry to create an environment hostile to decay. It is natural, sustainable, and, well, historically proven. And it teaches us something valuable about pre-industrial craftsmanship. They didn't rely on disposable solutions. They relied on durable knowledge. For survivalists, woodworkers, historians, and anyone who values long-lasting construction, this is a method worth relearning, practicing, and passing forward. Thank you for watching Thermal Vault. If you want more deep-dive history, forgotten engineering, and old-world techniques that still outperform modern shortcuts, make sure you subscribe and share this video so more people can join us.